We are back with another episode of the Too Good For You podcast. It is time for another episode of the Too Good For You podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Too Good For You podcast. It's your host, Tyson, and I'm joined, of course, by Emmanuel.
Hello.
And we have a special guest today. Say hi.
Hi, how you doing? What's up, guys?
This is the boy Jesus. Usually we have a lot of people who do things on the podcast.
Not to say that.
Jesus doesn't do anything.
I'm a regular schmo.
Jesus is just the boy. Today,
that's right.
We're having let's just call it a BOOTCUT Gene episode. Just real relaxed.
All right.
The boys are leaning back, drinking beers. We're recording this on fucking Memorial Day. So it's a BOOTCUT episode, and that's what we're going to call it. Nothing crazy. No interviews.
We're here.
Just bullshitting.
Back to the roots.
Back to back. You already know. So yeah, what's up, guys? How you guys feeling today?
Feeling good. I thought you were going to sip your beer, so I was like, all right, let me let him sip his beer.
Feeling pretty good. How was Chicago?
Yeah, I was in Chicago this last week, and honestly, it fucking was pretty lame. I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. It definitely wasn't the worst place I've been so far, but it was definitely hot and humid. I didn't think it got like that out there. Because when I think of it, I usually think it's pretty cold because you're right there on the lake, and then Canada was blowing wind. But no, that shit was just hot, and I was just like, this shit sucks. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I never really explored it, but it's old. It's an old city. I didn't realize how old it was.
You went to Chicago.
I was in Wrigleyville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to? Were they there? I don't think
they weren't playing that week. I tried looking. The White Sox. The Cubs were playing the White Sox wherever they play, which is
down south.
Yeah, so I wasn't able to do that. But if they were playing at Wrigley, I would have tried to go. But they were playing I think they played last week at home, and then they play this week. So of course, the week I was out there, they weren't playing. But even the guys at our job were like, "Oh yeah, dude, shit gets fucking rowdy when it's a fucking Cubs game." Because literally, where I was working, they're on the corner, and Wrigley Stadium is right there. And so I can only imagine if a game was going on, shit would just be loud, ridiculous. People were just blacked out, just mobbing.
You bet. Dude, I think I heard that people actually set up bleachers and stuff on the roofs.
Dude, they're on the roofs of the fucking apartments.
Exactly, yeah.
It's the stadium obviously is tall. Literally, there's the stadium, a street, and then apartments. There's no you go to any other stadium out here, most stadiums out here, there's space around the stadium. There's parking lots around the stadium. Wrigleyville, no. It's just in the city.
It's because it's a walking city.
Well, it's also one of the oldest stadiums. I think it's between what is it? It's Fenway, Wrigley. It used to be old Yankee Stadium, but they tore that down and built new Yankee Stadium. So I think Wrigley right now is the second oldest ballpark.
It's actually the oldest.
Oh, the oldest?
Wrigley Field was...
Welcome to our baseball podcast, guys.
That's right. Jesus knows baseball.
knows his baseball.
Jesus... Okay, so let's just do introductions. We know Jesus from all over the place. I met Jesus in college. I lived with him. Great guy. We had a lot of fun. Turned me into the alcoholic I am today. We drink a lot of beer together. He plays baseball. What else you got? What else is about yourself?
Just pretty much beer and baseball at that point. I mean, I would like to say I'm good at Warzone, but I'm not. I'm not even average, apparently, to Tyson's research.
Yeah, we looked it up. Average KD is 1.0.
Yeah, I'm at a .98, so
you're almost there.
You're almost average.
Even if I'm there, I'm still average. So
you're queuing up with randoms, right?
That's a lot of people, though.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I do play with randoms. I think only one.
And that's why. Just blame the randoms.
Yeah,
blame the randoms.
That's right. But yeah, no. So yeah, I've known Jesus for a long time. So good friends. Like I said, BOOTCUT episode. We're just hanging out today, doing our thing. But yeah, Wrigley Field, 1914. So,
That's
but yeah,
old ass field.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy. It's literally surrounding it is just apartments and then bars and stuff. So yeah, you literally it's just 4-story apartments and then stands on top of that. And I was like, that's fucking crazy.
How much do you think they pay? Because it's
to get
to live in those apartments, right? Because it kind of sucks because if you don't go to that game, right, you can't fucking relax.
You got all these home game.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you live right outside Wrigley Stadium, you kind of have to enjoy it, unless you like draw a really shitty card and you're like, damn, this is the only place that I had availability that I need a place to live. But I feel like if you're living outside of a stadium, you kind of have to know what you're getting yourself into. Like, you're like, I like baseball. But I'm sure literally everyone in Wrigleyville are Cubs fans. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like,
it's true.
They just won a World Series. Like, they're pretty in the recent history. So, they're pretty much on their high horses.
I think they broke, like, the 100-year streak. I think that was the biggest thing for them. No, I think it's kind of crazy to see like some of those cities, right? Like San Diego's the next one that I can think of at the top of my head, where like their stadium is legit in downtown. Have you guys ever been to Petco Park?
Yeah, dude.
Petco Park is probably one of my favorite stadiums. I've been to a few, but that one by all means is my favorite, just because everything is in downtown and everything that you can do after the game, the pregame, it's just everything's just right chill. There. Yeah. So I tried seeing those apartments across the stadium. Dude, no way. They're easy.
At Petco?
At Petco, they're easy over 4 Gs a month.
Jesus. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. Well, I would say, like, at least for Chicago, like, because it is such, like, it's like New York, right? It's a very public transportational city. Like, you're cutting costs a lot down. Like, for here in LA, like, obviously all we do is drive. So, right, that's a car payment, that's insurance, that's fucking gas. If you live in these cities, you either just walk to work or pay $20 a month for, like, the train, and then that just takes you wherever you got to go. So it's like you're cutting down on a lot of money, saving on, like, insurance and, like, even having a car. Like, the guy that we work with, he's like, I don't have a car anymore. I sold my shit because I was like, I live 10 minutes away from where he works, and he's like, I just take the train here, and because I mean the train runs literally everywhere. So I mean it's probably easier for cities like that have like good public transportation because they can charge a little bit more for apartments, but then you're not really feeling it because
you're not paying all those extra costs.
You're not paying your insurance for your car and other shit. So, and actually I was wrong. Fenway Park is older than Wrigley.
Damn, put some respect on his name.
I got you. All right.
Fenway, that's a dream right there to go to Fenway. But the problem with, and I'm only saying this based off like people's opinions, right? So it's not my personal opinion, but like I heard some of the problems going to like the East Coast teams, like Fenway Park and like Yankee Stadium, is that their fans are rowdy. Like rowdy. Like if you're not a Red Sox fan, you're not a Yankees fan, you go in there with any other jersey, you're gonna get harassed.
Well, why would you even do that though? I feel like, especially if you're going, I mean, I get you. Like for those like historic teams, like like you can't just walk up in there. If it's a Red Sox fucking Tigers game or something, like you're not gonna go in there wearing a fucking Angels jersey. Like that's fucking stupid. Like
because this is like
I know I get that, right? But like if it's like a Boston Angels game, right? Like you as an Angels fan would want to go to like Boston. Mm-hmm. It's like you're over here thinking like it doesn't matter who comes to like Anaheim or I can't say the same about the Dodgers, but like it doesn't matter who comes to Anaheim, right? It's the Dodgers, the Astros, doesn't matter. You're not gonna get really much fights or like you're not really gonna get shit talked really. Like
it's true.
I think unless you're extremely drunk, right? Over there, just some of the videos that I've seen is like people are sober and they make it their day.
They're ready to fight.
Yeah, they make it their day, just talk shit on you. And like I don't know if they look at like Sports Illustrated or something or MLB.com, but they got stats up the ass ready to go. Like just shitting on your favorite player.
Dude,
like,
I think baseball stats are probably some of the most ridiculous stats out of any sport that I can think of. Because I feel like a lot of it's just like you can literally just make up a stat like right then and there, and someone just writes it down like, all right, that's a stat now. Like I feel like with basketball, it's easy: rebounds, blocks, steals, assists. Like there's like a handful of that. For baseball, it's like this pitcher is the first pitcher in history to throw like 14 innings with 2 home runs and 7 strikes. Like it's just a bunch of numbers. And it's like everyone is on a record list somewhere for doing something. Like if you hit a ball, you're like, oh, all right, he's in history now. It's like there's just always some sort of stat for everything in baseball. Like this is the first guy to run from first to second in 4 innings in less than 10 seconds. Like some stupid shit. I'm like, who knows all these facts? But then there's these people, like you said, that just are fucking stat heads who know literally everything. I'm like, why do you do this?
Because they enjoy it. Why else would they do it?
It's like, damn, like a lot of it, I don't know. I don't understand baseball like that. So to me, I'm just like, I can't.
There's a lot of stats. I do agree with you. Like, I think, what did I see the other day? I think it was like something along the time, right? Like the first pitcher since like 1920 to throw this pitch. It's like, who keeps records?
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
How are you? Who's like tracking this? Like for the past 90 years? Like I don't know how many years, right? Yeah. But like, who's tracking this?
Someone is.
I will say for baseball, like a lot of the announcers like do keep track of stats based off like written. So it's called book, right? So in baseball, like a lot of the plays are tracked through a book. I don't know many other sports, or maybe I'm like super, I'm not familiar with the other sports, but like with baseball, like you track everything through a book. So like that book contains all your games past. Like, so if Eman went 3 for 4 with 3 singles, like that book will tell me 10 years from now, if it's well preserved, that Eman went 3 for 4 on August 20th, 2020. Like, so.
But who keeps track of that?
So like
the MLB.
In the professional, I think they have like announcers, but they also have bookkeepers, and like that's their whole job. And I think they get pretty good. I think they get paid like anywhere from 50 to 60K.
I'm assuming they're doing it for the whole team. Like I don't know if it's one person or like a little team that's just for everyone, and they get their own specific people. But dude, there's a lot of baseball players to keep a track of.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they do it per team or if like the MLB has like, hey, you're assigned to this region, right? I don't know how they do it, but I do know like those people, like they don't make that bad of a salary, but they have to know like everything when it comes to baseball, like because all the position players have a number.
Yeah.
So like they have to know, like I think like the pitcher is first, catcher second, and then on, right? So like if it's the catcher throws from from home plate to second, like he has to know the position numbers, and that's how you call the play. He can't just write on their catcher to second base. So
that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're into that, cool. But that sounds like a lot of work.
But I mean, I feel like it's the same thing for. I feel like that would be the same thing for most sports, though. I feel like for basketball, football, like it's probably. Well, I don't know. They probably use names. I don't know how stats work, but
these sports are kind of interesting if you think about it. Like sports were built generations ago, right? Like how did it get to this point?
Greeks and Romans.
Yeah, dude. Like I think I saw, and it was
Aztecs. Incans were doing sports.
I mean, I don't know much history from that.
The fucking thing where they use like their hip and
they got a little hoop on
like playing like basketball with like their hip.
Really?
Have you not seen that movie? Fucking
Road to El Dorado.
Road to El Dorado.
No, I haven't.
No, they're playing and they're going hard. I'm like,
yeah. So I found out the other day I was playing FIFA because I have that PlayStation subscribe thing. So FIFA 22. Oh damn. No, I've never seen
like
that.
Their hip and they have like a ball and they shoot it into like this little hole in the wall.
What's holding that? It looks like it's in midair.
No,
so
it's like stone. Yeah, so it's like crafted into.
Got it.
It's like the olden day basketball.
Yeah, literally like the first fucking sport.
Well, I was seeing it's like I don't know how much truth there is because FIFA 2022 told me this history fact, but apparently soccer was invented in England. Did you guys know that?
Football.
Football. Yeah, football.
Football.
Yeah, football was invented in England, and then I went onto this Reddit because I don't know, I like Reddit. You go into like some dark hole sometimes.
Oh, you're Tyson then.
Yeah, I went into this Reddit, and then this person on Reddit was trying to explain that's why like the England soccer. I don't know the official name, but that's why like a lot of the prestigious teams are in England.
Okay,
because
like Liverpool,
like I don't know. I don't know much about football. But yeah, that's why a lot of those prestigious teams are in their origin countries. I was like, that's crazy.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I was like, man, Mexico made this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought too. Like, or not even Mexico, like just like Latin America.
A lot of foreign countries, soccer is their main sport.
What's a global like popular sport? Like it's the biggest sport in the entire world.
I think I read too, like the World Cup alone is like 5 times bigger than a Super Bowl is down here. And
Yeah,
like
because the other countries don't give a fuck about the Super Bowl. Think of this: World Cup is literally mostly every major country in the world trying to compete. Yeah, so it's like for football, it's just Americans who are just like
Even for like baseball, like the World Series, right? I was like, why do they call it the World Series? Like, I get it; they have players from all over the world, but they don't have the teams from all over the world.
Yeah, it's not like we bring like the Japanese. Well, not even because also not every team. Most countries do play baseball now. I feel like. Japan is kind of like the second biggest.
Any country could get involved some way somehow, but I just feel like
it's like hockey's very like the only like the real international sport that like we kind of like use here in America because like it has American teams and also like Canadian teams. But obviously, there's a lot of all the other like northern European countries like Russia, Norway, Finland. They all have hockey teams as well, but they're not included in our NHL. But for us, like we have the NHL with Canadian teams. Like the MLS, which is the American, is only American. Baseball is only baseball. I mean, we have Canada too. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, Toronto Blue Jays.
That's the Toronto Blue Jays. No, who's Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. I'm fucking dumb. Yeah, basketball has Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it. Never mind. North America, then.
Well,
that doesn't count as international. That's all the same.
Is included in this now.
This is the same. This is the same. As you can tell, we know so much about sports on this podcast.
Welcome to our sports podcast, guys.
That's why we're not on Fox Sports.
we should just transition this to a sports podcast because we're so fucking knowledgeable. But yeah, so.
Wait, I thought you said you were quitting beer.
All right, so story time. Me and Tyson made a bet. I did want to give up beer. Summer bod's coming in hot. And another story for another day. But me and Tyson bet on a Super Mario Kart. See who we get first. If he won, I have to drink beer. If not, he would have to drink a vodka water. And lo and behold, I lost. But
why did you decide to give up beer and start drinking vodka waters?
It's a long story, but all right.
We have plenty of time.
All right. So
it's our podcast.
So it's funny, just this past weekend alone, I was off Friday having a great time, drinking, having a good time. Go to my barbershop. My barber says, hey, I'm running 40 minutes behind. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, there's a bar next door. I'm going to go to the bar real quick. I go to the bar. Get one of the heaviest beers for no good reason. It's like 9% double IPA. And I drink it, go into my barbershop. I'm buzzed. I'm buzzed as shit already, right? I go to my barbershop, I black out. Damn. Dude, I sit in the seat. I remember dabbing him up, and then I remember waking up. Because I fell asleep in the seat. And then guess what happened? Once I woke up, they're like, hey, are you good? Those words, I don't know why, triggered my gag reflex. Oh. And I ended up throwing up in the barbershop chair. But luckily they gave me a bucket before. But I'm very... And the most what's called thing too is that I was the last client. So all the barbers are done cutting. They're hanging out. They're drinking their shit. I wake up. They're just all watching me throw up. I'm like...
Damn. Did he at least cut you up pretty nice though?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, dude,
always.
That's props. Did you give him a tip like that?
Oh, dude, bro, I 100% did because he cut my hair while my head was literally like
show the picture
slumped. And
he was probably like grabbing his head.
No,
like
dude.
Lifting him up
I'm pretty sure this dude was just smacking my head around like a fucking.
So you got blacked off. Is that? Did you eat that day or how did?
No, dude. So in the morning I had like a freaking croissant, and then I started drinking. Bam. I started with the vodka waters.
Wait, hold on. Go. You're skipping a lot. So you had a morning. You had a croissant. Then what? You went to go get that beer.
No.
Drinking at home.
Oh, God. So you were already...
Game the
you were...
Yeah, dead ass.
And then he went to the barbershop and was...
I was about to say, I was like, if you blacked out on 9% beer, I was like, I think you might need to go back to that bar and
funny?
tell
I
them.
was so afraid that Jesus was just going to...
I was like, dude, I think you need to go back to that bar and be like, what did you put in that beer?
Yeah, I'm
like,
pretty sure. And it was funny, like, the bartender was so nice. She's all like, oh, leave me a Yelp review, yada, yada. I was like, okay, cool.
forgot that I blacked out.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, this is the picture. I'll put this up on the podcast. But this is the picture my barber took of me, slumped in the chair while he's cutting my hair. And
So
props,
funny, dude.
props to you, man. Props to you, CJ. I shot you out because
Shout out to CJ.
That's awesome.
CJ was out there, man,
That's
doing
so
the
funny.
thing.
So that made you quit beer just because you
I was
were pre-gaming? You were.
It was an embarrassing moment, and I was like, only beer makes me throw up like this.
Nah, dude. It was all the. First of all, vodka water itself. I'm sorry, but like you're just drinking diluted vodka. Why? It's just skip the water. Just get
go
the straight vodka. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's the same. Like you're just
Drink flavored
diluting it a little
vodka.
bit.
Yeah, just drink UV.
Oh, freaking even worse.
Birthday cake UV.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was the beer. I think it was the vodka and water. Whatever
I'm
you were
pretty
trying
sure it
to
was
do
a mix
there.
of everything, and then me not eating literally the whole day.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah,
I don't know
so,
what
like-
to tell you about that one.
So I came back after the barbershop. So it's weird because right when I woke up and threw up, no, I'm sober. Like I'm fine.
Dude, those like when you're drunk or like when you're pretty fucked up and you throw up, it's like a lifesaver.
It is.
It's like,
You're
it
just
takes-
releasing it.
Not for me.
No,
Really?
No. I'm not a puking rally.
Bro,
you're not
dude.
puking rally.
I'm a puking nights over.
No, I think I'm a puking rally.
Mm-mm.
Freaking, I was at a bar. Oh, you were there with me actually. We were at a bar. I was like, hey, I need to throw up. Hold my beer. I throw up in the middle of the bar, in the trash can, come back like nothing happened.
You
I was-
didn't get kicked out?
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's
I was
crazy.
smooth,
No one caught him.
smooth with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I blocked him. I was
Blocked.
doing my.
Yeah, and it's funny
doing
because
my
the security
defense.
guard came maybe like a minute later and saw it and was like looking around, and I'm over here like I get seated in the corner of my eye, but I'm like just talking like nothing happened. Fun times.
Yeah, man.
dude, I ever tell you the time Tyson got me kicked out of a bar even though he hyped it up?
Story time. Story time.
So I don't know.
It was no stop. Go ahead.
I don't remember how long ago it was. Right, we went to what's that place in Costa Mesa?
Goat Hill.
The Goat Hill. So we went to Goat Hill, right?
Okay.
And we were there grabbing pitchers of beer, and I didn't realize like the pitchers of beer there are pretty small, but they will give you any beer in pitcher. So like I drank.
Oh, so you could do the heavy.
Yeah, so I was drinking like a peanut butter milk stout from Belching in a pitcher, and like it sounded like a good idea.
This was your single drink for you?
Yeah, it sounded like a good idea, but like it just started getting heavy, right? So I think we were only supposed to be there for a few hours, but then we started running into people that like we knew. So it was just like, okay, like.
It was like someone's birthday, so like a bunch of people that we knew were like there. So we were just like,
But we weren't there for that. We were just, I don't even know how we got there, but we were just there hanging out. And
gosh.
yeah, and then like people started showing up. We're like, oh, cool. Like I'm going to roll with them because I think we drove separate. So then we just started, like the night started getting longer and longer, right? So then Goat Hill has like a little bar area. By this time, like I think we're running on, or at least I was, I don't know about you, but I was running on like a pretty good buzz, right?
Okay. I
And
mean, a pitcher will do that to you,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I think by this time it was like at least 3 pitchers by now.
Oh my
But,
God.
So, what was that one song? This is like, I don't know, it's like Mo Mamba or something like that.
Mo
Bamba?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Fuck yeah. So that song started playing, right? And like Tyson's getting hyped up. And I don't know what happened. Oh, I think one of my other buddies had this cup with ice.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, he asked Tyson, he's like, should I throw it? And Tyson's like, yeah. So like he threw it, right? And it landed on all these people. And this girl was like super mad that it got in her hair. And me being next to her, she's like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? And I was just like,
It wasn't
I was
you.
like, wait, what? And then some guy was just like, why are you messing with her? I was just like, look, man, I'm not messing with anyone.
Yeah.
And I was like, but if you want to do this, let's just fucking go outside. I was like, it's not even my fight. But
You don't play that.
I was like, it's not even my fight, but fuck you. Like, you're not gonna get in my face like that. And his friend like got him right. He's like, no, he's just drunk. Like, don't mind him. And then security came along. It's like, what's going on here? And like, so pretty much they kicked out my friend that threw the ice. But then like he's like, what was your involvement in this? And then I ended up leaving, right? And then Tyson, I don't know why, but Tyson's like, man, you always got to you always gotta have to get us kicked out, blah blah blah. And I was
You
like,
got mad at him?
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you're the one that hyped him up. I'm just trying to back up his situation.
Dude, this is slander. It's
About time, Tyson. This is your turn.
It's not about even what happened. Kind of, yeah. So my side of the story was that we were drinking. Everyone's having a good time. Hyping up. You know, his boy is like, oh, man, should I throw this water? And I was like, I don't know. Like, if you want. That's what I said. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no.
How buzzed were you first off? How buzzed were you?
Oh, we were buzzed for sure. I don't.
Then you
remember what I
definitely did
drank.
not say.
No, I
up
was
to
like,
you.
Yeah, I was just like, whatever you want. He's like, so then he just did it, and then once he did it, everyone was like looking around, and I was like, oh shit! So I started like looking around, trying to play it off.
He's like, I'm not getting kicked out today.
Yeah, I was like, oh, where did that come from? Like, I didn't do it. And then they started like pressing us, and everyone was just playing it dumb. And then security came, and then Jesus was gonna do his thing, and I was like, oh man. I mean, it was the end of the night anyway.
I like how Zeus is just like, I mean, it wasn't me, but if you want to go, we could go.
That's why I think why I was mad.
No involvement.
I think that's why I was upset. I was like, you didn't even have to do that. Like, why are you trying to start a fight with the guy? Like, what are you? Like, there's absolutely no reason.
You're not gonna slander my name tonight.
Yeah. You're not talk to me that way.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's do I don't know. Should we do a tier list or just a yay or nay?
What is this based off?
Domestic beers.
Oh God. Tier list, go.
All right.
Wait, what's that?
You never done a tier list for like
F.
S, A,
Oh yeah.
B. Like
On
S is like
domestic
the
beers.
highest. A, like how would you rate these? Let's do 1 to 5. How would you rate?
So like you
this
say,
beer?
Modelo. What would you rate it?
1 to 5.
1 to 5?
Yeah.
I'd say like a 4.
All right, perfect. So it would be that, but
Okay,
like domestic beers.
My bad. It's my first day on the job. So
No,
It's all good. No worries. We're here.
That's what we're here
we do.
for.
Yeah. All right. Miller.
Which
5.
one? Miller Lite?
Just Miller first.
That's what I'm asking. I'm just curious.
I'm saying what I'm reading. Miller.
All right. Miller?
Yes.
1 is the worst, 5 is the best?
Yes.
2.
You said 5?
5, dude. That's a crispy boy right there.
All right. Miller Lite.
1.
5. Dude, those are classic. Those are those are summertime, like all day
shit.
go-tos. Those are crushable beers.
Right.
Those are like the ones you start when you're 5.
The one your dad gave you?
Fun fact, my first beer, my dad gave it to me at 7 years old at a construction site that he was working at. And he gave me a Miller.
Why were you at a construction site at 5 years old?
I don't know, because that's like, I mean, I don't know. My dad used to take me to all his construction sites. Like, you got to learn construction. So I would be there, not really doing much other than like probably taking up space. But like he'd give me
Sipping the Millers. Like.
yeah, he'd give me like a broom. He's just like, go sweep that. And I was like, okay. So I'll be there for like the next 5 hours.
Just sweeping.
Just sweep in one spot. I was like, my whole duty was, this spot's not going to get dirty today.
Smart. All right. Budweiser.
1.
Yeah, I'd say like a 1.
Sounds good. Bud Light.
A 1.
A 3.
That's water.
Okay.
Classic.
Coors.
Coors. I give it a 4.
Coors a 3.
Coors Light.
I give that a 3.
3.
Okay. Natty Lights.
Never had that, so I can't say anything on that.
Dude, Natty Lights 4. Natty Lights are solid.
Bush.
Bush is solid. I would say a 4.
Give it a 2. I'm sorry, I'm giving it a 2.
Bush Lattes.
I don't think I've ever
a
had
5,
one.
baby. Bush lattes.
Is that like a canned beer?
It's Bush
It's
Light.
Bush Light.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just slang. It's
It's just
called a Bush
lattes. So, like,
Latte.
it's
Got it,
pretty.
got it,
It's
got it,
pretty
okay.
huge, like in the Midwest, like
Up north, Midwest, yeah.
Bush lattes. I think even some. I think like Texas, Oklahoma, like all those states get like Bush Light Apple, which releases in the spring.
Springtime? Yeah.
Yeah, it's super good. So I wish I could.
Man, I should try that.
There was like a fire design on one of them. Bush Light It was like a camo can or something.
Oh
like
yes,
that.
yes, yes.
These?
That sounds very.
Yeah, those are
These
solid.
are fucking.
Yes.
Look at these are sick, dude.
I
That's
saw
how you
those
know
in
that's what-
Temecula.
You're in the Midwest.
Fishing
Yeah.
camo edition.
Yeah, you're drinking a bush latte out of the fishing
sit down
camo.
on a boat, like on a
lattes
boat.
are pretty sick.
Those are hard,
All right.
man.
If I see
I'm
a
about to
book,
try it.
if I at any stadium, I think I don't have it. I haven't had it at any stadium here in California. But if I see a Busch Latte at a stadium, all day, I'll pay $13. Even though like
And you said
a
this was a
30 pack
five.
is $11.
You said a 5?
I said a 5. Busch Lattes are a 5.
Bush
All right.
lights are great. All right, Michelob.
I don't think I've ever had just a Michelob.
Oh, is that Michelob Ultra? Or
It just says Michelob.
I don't
Yeah,
think I've
no.
ever had a Michelob.
Is there a difference?
I think there is.
Michelob Ultra. There is a Michelob Original Lager. Well, let's just do Michelob Ultra. I don't
5.
know.
Yeah, I've never done the Michelob, just a regular one, but the Michelob Ultra, I'd say 5. Crushable.
5.
Crispy boy.
Okay.
Oh, that one's super crispy, dude.
PBRs.
I don't think I've had one. Don't think I've ever had that.
PBRs are trash. I don't know who, like, they make a lot of money and they sponsor a lot of things. I don't know who's drinking their beer, but all I know
cheap?
is, dude, you can get like, I
That's
think it's like $8.99 for a 12-pack.
Dude, that's why. Exactly why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about PBR other than I had PBR once. I took 2 sips and I was like, nope.
That's the one that looks like there's a ribbon.
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
okay, yeah, no, never.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, baby.
Yeah.
Dude, they're the ones that came out. I think it was them that came out with like a 94 pack.
A 94
Yeah,
pack.
I think they
That's
came
a
out.
super ultra house party.
I don't know if it
block
was like
party
a
thing.
joke, but they had the casing of it. I think it was them. that had the 94 pack.
Imagine rolling to the store and be like, hey, where's the 94 packs at?
Actually, it was a 99.
99. Damn, I was off by
They might as well
5.
just made 100 at that point. Look at that. Two people. Takes 2 people to carry it.
Yeah, dude, it's 99 cans. You think one person's carrying that? It's like a bazooka. All right, and then the last one we have on this list is where'd it go? It was Miller High Life.
I've had Miller High Life. You get in 40s. They're not
that's,
that bad.
that's when you play Edward 40 Hands.
I don't know why that was separate.
Miller High Life are pretty good though.
Yeah,
I like
I'd
them. I
drink
enjoy it.
those.
I would say for sure probably like a 4.
I give it a solid 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually upset that
drinkable.
Coors Banquet wasn't on that list. Coors Banquet is solid.
Dude, that's 5, 100%.
Yeah,
That's
solid.
the best Coors
Solid beer.
out there. Hold on. That one right here. Hold
That's why
on.
none of us are drinking it. Everyone's like, oh, it's the best beer. Yeah, I don't know. This list wasn't like everyone.
But you said this was just domestic, right?
Yeah, that was just domestics.
No, I mean, but those are like your,
There's still
your
more.
classic advertise. Like they're corporate fucking
That's true.
beers.
I see
they
Bud
run
Light
everything.
and Budweiser the most, though.
Yeah, Anheuser-Busch. Like, I think, so I know Anheuser-Busch, right? Anheuser-Busch is the one that owns, like, Bud Light, Budweiser. And then they started owning, like, a bunch of craft breweries. And then I think Coors is the other one. They're the competitor. So, like, they're going to be everywhere for generations. I mean, this is beer that, like, you'll see internationally. Like, you can go to UK, Japan, probably
And they
Africa,
got a Bud
and you
Light.
got a Budweiser or a Bud Light, yeah. So, like, they're beer to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, you have Anheuser-Busch, which is like the largest, producer or not producer. I don't know what you would call them. Like, because they just own a bunch of different breweries, so they're just like a
Well, I mean, they're a distributor, but they own.
distributor. There you go.
I think they're like the parent company, pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah. Because they
But
own
isn't Anheuser-Busch like the only one that they do is like the only one they specifically brew is Budweiser?
So Anheuser-Busch on their umbrella, they do Budweiser, Bud Light, Busch Light. I think they do one more that I forgot. I think the Bud Ice. So like when you start getting into like the 40s and stuff like that, they do Bud Ice, Natural Light, Natty Ice. Dude, Natty Ice is gas. I don't care what anybody says. Natty Ice is super good.
We're going to 7-Eleven.
You never had the Natural Light? Dude,
You know what's funny? I've always seen it, and I'm like, nah.
Dude, that's
I'm
like
just
college party games fucking
Oh,
beer.
damn.
It's super good though. I like Natty Ice. I know a lot of people hate on it, but I like
I've seen it. I always see it.
Dude, we
like,
never
in the
drank
store.
those in college.
I did.
Why did we drink Natty Lights?
At my house? For all those parties?
You guys had
As you could
Natty
tell.
Lights there?
Yes, sir.
Tyson blacked out on all those parties.
Yeah, apparently.
So
I only went to 2 parties at your house.
I don't know. We had a lot.
I know you guys had a lot. Well, because, Jesus and I were in different fraternities when we were in college. But, me, just being the foreign diplomat that I am, I was breaching the bridge.
Is that against the rules? Wait, I don't know if you could even speak on that. I don't know.
Well, no, I
we're
think
fucking 5 years out of college.
No, I think
Tim.
Before, I guess if anyone watches the podcast and starts roasting on it, we weren't in an official house like all the bigger schools, right? So, we didn't have, our letters.
Yeah.
He had a house with his letters on it.
No, we didn't.
Oh, but then, yeah, but there's other schools.
There's only three of the fraternities had letters.
But if you go to,
That's wild. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, houses, go ahead.
No, so, a lot of the bigger schools, right, they've been there for, a foundation.
Like the South.
Even the South, USC too, UCLA, they've been there for quite a while, right? Cal State Fullerton has been there for a little bit, but they weren't known to have fraternities, right? So I think Fullerton passed a law where they just couldn't allow any more fraternity houses
or
something
along
those lines.
It was after a certain year, I think the city just complained about
too many fraternities or
well, obviously, because most of the houses are just in neighborhoods. If you go to the South, you go to USC, back in you watch traditional frat movies. They have frat rows. It's literally a whole neighborhood that is specifically designated for the college to have houses for students.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of student housing, and then fraternities are all in the same area. When you have smaller schools Cal State Long Beach
was like that.
Cal State Fullerton, or all of the smaller Cal States, they try to emulate the same thing, but obviously the cities, don't fund the schools as much as either private schools or the South, which are a lot of bigger schools and stuff like that. So all of our houses are just in neighborhoods. So there's kids, families, and a bunch of other shit. So they have 5 houses of just 40, 30 guys all living in one house, and it's nonstop chaos every day of the week. They're complaining and stuff. So the city said you guys can't have any more after a certain year there couldn't be any more houses. So once the fraternities got kicked off of their homes because either the landlord kicked them off or whatever, after that, they weren't able to hold traditional houses with their letters branding the fraternity on. So there's only 3 fraternities left, at least. I don't know anymore. But when we were there was only 3 fraternities that had their houses with letters visible.
It was it was a little bit more than that.
The barn never had official letters on the house. It was
you're right. Phi Sig.
It was Phi Sig, Pi Cap, and I think Dechi. There was only 3 that had it. Everyone else, the barn was just the barn. But they had shit where you could see it, but it wasn't
out in the front.
But the houses were known for names, and people knew it was associated with that fraternity. So my house, which is called the OG house, which the family, a fraternity family, moved in there originally, right? Dude, that house was massive. I'm pretty sure that landlord did not follow any city codes because there was 9 of us living there, but there was at least there was for sure 5 rooms that were rooms, and then there was a whole house upstairs that he built.
Yeah, it was a 2 unit, it took up 2 lots.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-story house. Uh-huh. So there was enough one side where he was living, you could have cut right where the front door was to where he was living was big enough to just be one house. Yeah. But then there was a whole other side that was still the house. And then there was upstairs.
Oh, yeah, it was massive. So when we threw parties, they got shut down pretty quickly because there's so many. I remember it was so grimy. Some parties that there'd be so many people in there just the humidity,
condensation.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick.
Our parties too, dude.
It was insane, and I liked my room the most because my room I could throw a little party in there because my room was supposed to be a garage, but he turned it into a room. So it had its own shower, 2 sinks, a bathroom. Had it had everything, right?
Crazy,
and it had an AC. Dude, we would throw a private party when there was a party going on. And it was exclusive only.
Outside the door.
No, it was crazy because people would knock and we would ignore, right? Or be hey, my friend's outside, and would let them in. But it was super crazy just living there because one, I got to actually experience what it was like. Maybe not as much as maybe a USC fraternity or UCLA or even down south, because down south that's that's a religion almost.
Yeah,
but
real fraternities, we were just fake fraternities.
Yeah, 100%. But it was pretty cool because I got to like meet a lot of people and I got to experience a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have experienced in a commuter school, right? So I think that was the coolest
we were
part.
a commuter school, but
Yeah, 100%.
the fraternity definitely helped.
But I think my biggest thing that it's kind of sucks that I think this way, but I don't regret it at all. It's like the reason I would have like Tyson over, because he was a different fraternity, but I would have him for some parties, because the biggest argument that I would make was like, well, I pay partial bills here, so therefore I can invite whoever I want.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and it wasn't like I was inviting him every single time,
Yeah,
but
like I said, I only went to 2 of his
yeah,
parties.
I was like, I would invite him sometimes. I was like, dude, well, if anything, I could close off my room and I don't need to.
I mean, you got a private suite
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
Like,
No, because I did. There was times where I was super fucked up, and I just told my roommate, and I was just like, "Hey, man, I don't want anyone in here. Like, I'm pretty fucked up. I'm about to probably throw up all night, and everything's blasting outside. And it's just me in my room watching, like, I don't know,
Vibing.
Avatar, or just playing PlayStation. Like,
Nice.
so while there's a whole ass party outside,
Nice.
I'm just in there
Yeah.
doing bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helped too, is because like, yeah, even though like I was in a different fraternity, it was just like, I knew Jesus like before he was even in the fraternity, so it was like, no, like this is already like my friend or whatever, and like even like if there wasn't a party, like I would still just be at his house, like I would still just hang out with him, so like everyone in the house like already knew who I was, and then it was, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the jokes are like, oh, dude, nah, we don't fuck with other fraternity guys, like, yada, yada, yada. But it was like, dude, like, who gives a fuck, really? It's like, we're all just, like, here. So, I mean, some of the guys, but...
Yeah,
no.
some people took it like pretty serious.
Some people-
I know,
yeah, some people were really
after
serious.
like college, like those people that I know a few of them, right? Like I know a few of them were just like, man, I kind of regret that, and it's just like, I think it's like whatever you make out of it, but like you can't get too deep into it. I mean, it's like a lot of things, right? You can't get too deep into it, and like knowing that eventually it's gonna end, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Because, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I feel like if we were all a little bit more inclusive and kind of did more, like, joint things, like, it would have made things a lot better. Obviously, that's more safety risks and stuff like that because, you know, the more drunk men you have together under one roof just creates more chaos, right? So if you were to bring 2 fraternities together for one party, like, that would just be a lot to handle. So that's why it was also usually just kept to, like, one house, one fraternity, just to help, you know, for safety reasons and, you know, other litigation stuff. But yeah, I mean, if it was just like me just coming to the house, like, and the only time I was there, I was fucking working. I was fucking DJing his party anyway.
Oh,
so
okay. So you have a pass already.
Yeah, I was,
no matter what it
I
is,
was-
you have a pass.
I was there, but yeah, no, dude, yeah, it was fun. We used to get into a lot of shit in college. Good times, good times.
I didn't realize how much goes into fraternity and sorority stuff. To be
dude,
honest.
it's a lot. Like I think sororities are a little bit.
I heard
I don't know much about like. Well, I know a little bit, but I think sororities is a lot more work than it is to a fraternity.
Really? I heard they
100%.
can't even throw parties. That's why they go
Well,
to
they
the
just-
frat
Well,
parties.
because it's also, again, it's safety for them because I mean, sororities kind of, you know, have a higher morality sense.
Okay.
So
You
it's
can
like,
trash a frat house. It doesn't matter.
yeah, and the thing, a lot of like for like the sororities, you know, it's if you have they would have like house moms, so they would have people there at the house who would like watch over the girls to make sure
Okay.
that like, you know, they didn't really like having boys over to the house regardless. Like you can come over and hang out for a little bit, but like once it was like, hey, like it's nighttime, like boys got to go. Like
Yeah,
this is not
bounce.
Yeah, this is not a fuck fest. Like
This ain't a hotel.
yeah,
Like,
this is the girls' like sorority home, like, and they kept it always very clean. Like it was always like a very like well maintained place. Frat houses are just the dirtiest of the dirt bag shits, and so that's why it was just like
I would say my house was pretty clean just because we had like a few of us that were already on the older side, so like we would want to maintain it clean. But no, I think that house specifically, like when we all moved out, it only took them like maybe I think 2.5 years before the landlord cut a stop to it and just kicked everyone out. And I'm almost 1,000% sure that landlord has to make at least anywhere from 20 to 35K in damages. Like he has to fix a lot of
God
things. Yeah,
damn.
dude. When I was last there before they got kicked out, I could swear that they were growing algae in their carpet.
Oh, bro, that's sick. Oh.
I was like, how does anyone live in here? Like the most disgusting I've ever seen. And what was crazy to me is that like people would come over, like that they would still throw parties, and people would come over even though the house was like just disgusting. I was like
violation.
I was like, how? Like, I think to me, like looking back at college, it's like, how would you want to party in these conditions, like knowing that you could probably catch something at this place?
Because we were young, man. It was like we were free. We were young. We had nothing else to do, and it was just like, dude, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's throw a party, invite a bunch of chicks over. Who gives a fuck, dude? Like, oh, chicks. It's just dudes just having a fucking day rager. Who gives a fuck? Like, you know, it's just one of those things where we would just do it because we had nothing else to do. We were in college. It was the fucking weekend. We just went through class all week. It's like, let's fucking turn up. And do you clean the house? No. All right, fuck it. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm still just gonna come over. Like, so yeah. But yeah, those were good times.
But I don't know. I think I appreciate those times, but I think if like anyone would tell me like, would you do it again? I probably wouldn't, just because like it was a lot of maintenance for sure. I think now like even like house parties now, right? Like if you were to throw a house party at your house,
I hate it.
Wouldn't.
Because guess what? Everyone gets drunk, they leave, and then only few people stay and clean up. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's gonna have to.
But yeah, imagine that with 100 plus people.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't like. I mean, I would want to be one of the 100 people that just could drink and then leave.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but
that's everyone's goal. But someone like, lives in the house.
Yeah,
right?
but like,
so
like if they did that here, I'd be like, get the fuck out of my house, man. I'd be like, hey, I'm like, oh my god, leave already. But you know.
Yeah, but when you're like a community symbol, like essentially a fraternity is, it's a community thing. So it's like, you're just not gonna throw a party. It's the lamest fraternity ever. That's when you get into like business fraternities. Like, that's not a fraternity, man. Like you don't do anything. You don't do anything.
You just offended all the business fraternity people.
I was like, I don't know much about them, so I can't say much about them. But
when was the last business fraternity party you went to? Never. None. Exactly. It's a business fraternity.
Yeah, I always found it super amazing, like YouTube, like the power of YouTube. But I always like looking up at like the fraternity parties, like down in the East Coast, the South, where like James Franco would show up. I think James Franco showed up to like a Miami party or
mad celebrities.
The university.
These are legit like events.
Wait, these are I thought they were like alumni.
No. So like there's whatever. Like I said, like anywhere in the South, or like Tyson said, in the South, sometimes in the East Coast, like in Florida, like they got some houses out there that like. God
it's a mansion.
Damn. Yeah, yes. No, they're not mansions. They're like apartment complexes. Homes. Yeah, they're like apartment complexes.
Like the movies, and
yeah.
So like people like they build enough noise, and that like I think that one was in Miami. Like James Franco showed up to party with them.
That's
Carnage,
wild.
the DJ, he fucking threw down the tables for them, like just crazy shit, right?
And
so
a lot
like
of the times too, these kids have money, especially in the South. Like these kids have money, so like that's the difference too between like most West Coast fraternities and down South, right? You think of, like you said, fraternities like down South. That's kind of like the stereotype of fraternity, right? Giant mansions, huge parties and stuff like that. How do you pay for it? These kids have money.
I was gonna say how much membership, or not membership.
Their alumni, their alumni have money that like contribute to, and it's crazy.
They help them. They help them build these giant houses, and then they just have funds for the fraternity to use. And obviously, plus the fraternity dues for every person that's in it. So say you have 100 people in your fraternity. Say dues are $1,500. That's already what, $115,000.
Oh, depending. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially at those, like that's how much. It's probably more than 1,500. And it's 100, probably 100 plus people. So that's a lot of money coming in for them to just blow it on whatever they fucking want. It's not like they just have to, all they have to do is have weekly meetings, do some community service. That's pretty much it, and get good grades.
I was like, don't look at me. I was like, I was the terrible one.
No,
I used to just party. I used to host parties and party. Like, I didn't do any of this other stuff.
But I'm just saying, like, in terms for fraternity to be like recognized as a fraternity,
yeah, there's a lot.
You have to like,
there's a lot goes into it.
Yeah, those are like the main. Yeah, those are the things you have to do.
Like, in order to be like nationally recognized, like you have to do a lot of community stuff. You have to do a lot of charity stuff. Like you have to do above and beyond than just partying, right? The partying's kind of like the dirt under the rug that like you locally maybe you'd be known for, but like there's no way you can be on the news and like you cannot be national recognized.
That's why there's all those problems with like, you know, unfortunately like people dying through like fraternity parties and stuff like that, and like that's where it kind of gets the bad light, and that's why everyone kind of has the bad stigmas about fraternities, where like the movies always are projected as just all you do is go to fucking parties. Like you don't go to class or anything like that. Again, we can only speak for our experiences at a small college, not anything compared to the South or the East, which I'm sure is a lot different. But yeah, I mean, if you don't make grades, like you're not in the fraternity. Like you have to have a certain GPA.
That's like a team.
Yeah, you still have to do like...
It's for sure, when you start getting to a higher level, it becomes a business. Like I know they hire people for the fraternity like national, and you go to schools and like pretty much give them like a business foundation of like, hey, this is how your fraternity should run.
Yeah, every fraternity has like a national headquarters. Like almost kind of like it's... what am I thinking of? Like
headquarters,
yeah, it's like a headquarters for like any other company, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you have like your head of the companies and like all your other people who go out to like the little fingerlings of this company. So you have your headquarters, and then you have people designated to the East Coast, West Coast, South, North, and then so you have your Western people. So then you get to meetings. You go, today's meeting we have, you know, so-and-so from headquarters coming down to talk to us, and then you just have to do like these meetings with.
Yeah, I will say the biggest thing that like I took away from that, and like to this day I'm super grateful for it, is like because I used to go, I don't go to them anymore, but like I used to go to a lot of music festivals, right? So I would have at the time, like during like my heart years, like was like 2016 to like 2016 to like 2018-ish, right? Where I would have like this giant flag with like the fraternity flag.
Oh, you
and this flag, dude, it was like a 40-foot pole, right? So I would go to like all these festivals, and what was super cool about it is like all these other chapters from other schools would come up to me. Yo. Yeah, like dude, like some of my best buds today came from Las Vegas because I met them like at a festival here, and we introduced like his name is Boss. So if he ever watches this, like shout out to Boss. He's fucking super cool guy. Like I love that guy. But he met me at a festival here in California, and then he being from UNLV, so when I went to EDC Las Vegas, it was magical. It was fucking sick. Like the amount of things that like I didn't even know was in Vegas because of this group was just insane. Like I had such a good time. So like I do appreciate that fact. And like going back to like Tyson's point, like some of the southern schools, like I met some of the chapters from like the other schools from like Mississippi, Miami, and like it was crazy to me to see like some alumni take this to heart, right? Like I'll never forget, like in 2017 I met a doctor from Miami. He was like he told me, I forgot what type of doctor he was, but he gave me his business card. He's like, yeah man, he's like you seem like a cool guy, like, because that's another thing, right? You have to be like a cool guy. You can't be like a weirdo or anything. So you have to be like outgoing, cool guy. He's like, dude, you seem like a super cool guy. Like, here's my business card if you ever need. I'm forgetting what type of
plastic surgery
was, probably, but he's like, if you ever need a penis job or something, like, let me know. But he gave me his business card, and I was just like, dude, that's kind of crazy. Like, one, like, why are you just holding your business card at a music festival? I was like, hey, but man, two, I was like,
dude's there for business too. Like,
I was like, the amount of like people that probably remember, like, I'm remembering this story, and that happened in 2017.
That
so
is true.
Like,
yeah,
I thought that was super cool. That was super. It was a unique experience for sure. If you did that type of route, I know a lot of people that didn't explore that type. I loved it. I like meeting all these people. Like I probably on my phone contact list, I have people from like all over the U.S. that I could probably hit up right now and tell them what music festival, and they'll probably be like, dude, what's up? I haven't seen you in years. Like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah. A lot of, I actually know, so going back to business cards at festivals, one of my friends who's a lawyer, she would do that. Yeah. She would give out like,
dude, that's
it's pretty smart,
like
especially
business cards.
If it relates to like, I don't know much, like what type of lawyer is she?
Domestic violence.
Damn.
That would make.
All right.
That.
I mean, she does obviously a bunch of other things, but a lot of her stuff entails is kind of like around that kind of stuff.
No,
but, I mean, she's a lawyer, so I mean, she can handle most things where she can.
Or she can reference
she's a
you to
firm,
someone.
or she works for a firm, so she can handle or give it to someone else. But I think
most of the time when you have business cards and you go to a music festival, it's because it's related to something around the music festival. Yeah. Or like something that could potentially happen. So.
All right, Tyson, we got to make business cards for this podcast. Go to a festival, meet some people.
Why? We just bring the podcast to the festival.
Fuck it, have little microphones. Hey, like.
Yeah.
Those are pretty huge successes. I think there has to be a lot of editing though, because I don't know if have you guys ever been to like a huge music festival, like. Let's say, screw it, like EDC. Have you guys ever been to EDC? Dude, EDC is like a massive thing. Like, people who do the YouTube video content in EDC, I don't know how they do it because it's a circuit show there. Like, it's a NASCAR field that's 1,200 acres. I think the track itself is 2.14 kilometers, which I think that's like 1.2 or 1.5 miles or something like that. So, imagine like walking around an entire NASCAR field and you doing YouTube content with like 130,000 people. Like, there's a lot of editing that goes into that.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean,
carrying all that gear too?
Yeah, like, I mean.
Fuck.
That's if they let you inside with the gear.
Oh, see, yeah. Like,
Channel 5, right? With Andrew Callahan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he does shit like that all the time. Like, he just goes to places and does all the journalism there. But yeah, he's fucking at a lot of shit, and I'm sure his team is doing a lot of fucking editing
behind the scenes,
do
for sure.
all that. Because I'm sure that's a lot of fucking work.
All right, so we gotta hire someone that can do all this editing.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go to the festival and we'll do our thing.
Just ship it off
and
to
that's
someone
it.
else.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, but here's your 40 hours of content you gotta edit down to 20 minutes.
Dude, you guys have to go try EDC Las Vegas. Like, if there's any festival that you just one and done, well, actually, sorry, there's two of them. If there's any one that, like, if you like that type of music, right, that it has to be for sure EDC Las Vegas and Tomorrowland.
I heard
those
about both
two. If you can go the rest of your life without going to like an EDM festival, you'll be just fine with those two. Like EDC Las Vegas, every year, like I have bad FOMO. And I have super bad FOMO, but then I remember like some of the craziest stories I've ever been in there, some of the shit shows that I've been in.
I've heard some of your stories. I've heard some of your stories.
You're like, relive this again.
Wait, hold on.
I was like, I was like, definitely all-time favorite festivals though. See, Coachella. So this past Coachella made me realize why I stopped going to festivals like that. Just, it's a lot of work. It's a fun. I had a fun time. I don't regret not going. Right. Or I don't regret going, sorry. But it definitely reminded me that it's a lot of work and a lot of energy. And towards the end of the night, because I drove an hour and a half to go back home after Coachella. So this is like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So
You only went one day?
I went 2 days.
Oh, okay.
But I drove back home both days, so 1.5 hours.
Oh, dude, you're wild.
Yeah, so I went Friday. Friday was super hot. It was like at least 94 degrees, and it just went solo. I went by myself, and after I met like a group of people there, like my buddies that were there at the campsite, and then after they left to go see someone else, in that split moment I was like, damn it, I remember why I don't come to this stuff. Because when you're alone, it's cool, but at the same time you're just alone. You're just running around doing whatever you want. But like if you hit like a music, like if you listen to a set and like you get like, I wouldn't say in the feels, right? But like let's say it's just like a nasty drop. Yeah, like let's say it's like a nasty drop. You want to vibe with someone, and like oftentimes like strangers will vibe with you, but not the same.
Bro,
right?
I went to one. It wasn't even a festival. It was like a reggae thing, and I went to one, and I was like, I'm vibing. I'm having a great time. Never would do it again though, unless I like have someone to do it with. Bro, I went to a beer festival garden before it. Went to the thing, drunk as shit. Over here, great time. And then I'm looking around like, all these other people are in groups. I'm just me here, you know? Like, I'm just like, all right. And then I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. I left, went to a party.
I will say that I had a blast on day one just because there was beer. It was my first time going into beer gardens because the first time I went to Coachella, I was only 19. I wasn't even 21. So I couldn't get into beer gardens. So I was like, what is this crazy beer gardens that everyone talks about, right? And I was so amazed when I went into beer gardens because they had all these craft breweries that like I text you about, or like I was like, dude, if you're gonna try this, try this. Like they had tripping animals from Florida. They had monkish. They had monkish at a festival. And I've been to so many goddamn festivals, and I've never seen any type of craft brew.
Yo, I go there all the time.
Yeah, no, I was when I saw those, like when I saw them or those top lists, I was so happy that like that made the entire festival for me. I was like,
The one beer.
I was like, I don't even care that I'm paying $15 for this. I was like, I'm just so happy I could have it on draft. But I will say, day one was a lot more friendlier because like I was at Beer Garden, I had a pretty cool spot, and like a lot of people actually went up to me, probably because I had a prime location sitting down. And like a lot of people were like super opening, like a lot of people were buying me drinks and stuff like that. I would tell them like, oh, I'm by myself. And they'd be like, oh, dude, 100% I like it. You're just vibing. And I'm like, yeah. But deep down I'm like, nah, man. I mean,
I wish I had someone to talk to.
Yeah, I was like, sometimes I was like, I wish I had someone to talk to. But yeah, no, I'm just vibing. So like they were buying me drinks. It was a lot of fun. I think for sure day two I had a lot more I had a little bit of a better time, not because the sets were better, but my girlfriend was actually there on Saturday, so I could vibe with her a little bit more.
You had someone there.
Yeah, I had someone to vibe with. So, but day one, I don't regret day one. But like I said, it's definitely a lot of energy. Like I was thinking about doing EDC. EDC was what, like last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I was thinking about it. I was gonna do it, but I thought about the time that I got lost at EDC in 2017, and then I was like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to experience that again. So let's just stay home. I'll listen to those sets on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'll just wait till it drops from the comfort of my home.
There it is.
Yeah. Festival life, man.
You gotta try it though. I think I'm for sure gonna do Coachella next year. It just has to be planned because like, so I bought my Coachella ticket super last minute. I bought it drunk as fuck, and I bought two of them.
Didn't you text me? You're like, hey, buy a ticket.
Yeah,
so I was like, what?
I bought it drunk as fuck, and then so the only reason I bought it is because so my mom wanted to go, and so did my cousins, right?
Oh, okay.
So I bought 2 tickets because I was gonna buy 4 in total, but he only had 2 tickets. So I bought 2 tickets, and then I was going to look for the other 4. So then my cousin got sober. He's like, oh, I don't want to go anymore. And I was like, fuck. So I got 2 tickets, right? And I didn't even realize this year, due to the amount of artists that changed, they weren't selling good. Like every other year, like you could profit on your Coachella tickets.
True.
This year, you could not.
So I was like, they did change that lineup a lot.
Yeah. So I was kind of like trying to sell them. I just couldn't. I had no luck, or like people were trying to super lowball me until the day of. I was like, you know what?
Were you out there selling it like right outside the gate?
No. So when it got to the actual day, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go. I was just like, I'm just going to go. I know a few artists that are going to be there, and I'll just figure it out. And it was going to be cool because my mom was going to go, but I think my mom got a little scared when I told her. I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to meet up with my friends. And I think, I don't know what really the thought process was in that. But it would have been cool if my mom would have gone. So I think this upcoming year, I'll probably buy 3 tickets. And then that way, in case she doesn't want to be with me the whole time, she can go. Because I know a lot
that's cool.
Yeah, so.
If they got Frank Ocean next year, I'll go.
Do you think, like, okay, so obviously for, like, most of the big festivals or just music festivals in general, right, you usually have your GA and your VIP.
Yeah.
Do you mostly, or when you were doing it a lot, were you always kind of like just a GA, or did you do VIP, and like do you ever like recommend like, oh, do you know, like VIP is always the way to go, like it's so much worth it for like the extra, you know, $100-$200 for it, or are you just like, no, like GA is like fine?
So I like to be with the crowd, so I do GA. Like VIP are the people that like don't want to really be seen. They want to keep like away from it. I say all the fun is in the GA crowd. Like the amount of things I saw in the GA crowd. Yeah, the amount of things that I saw in the GA crowd and the amount of people that were like just good vibes was in the GA crowd.
Okay. All right.
Better in the GA, guys.
Yeah, I was like,
GA.
I've never done VIP just because I had such a great experience in the GA crowd. So. And to be honest with you, I guess that's what you go to for music festival, right? You go for the artist, but like you also go for the
experience,
the experience with the people around you, right? Like I've met some strangers that I probably don't even. I'll probably will never talk to them again. That like just left memorable impressions in my mind.
Bro, Vegas trip.
Yeah, Eman's first Vegas trip.
Bro,
for sure.
I joined a rave family. Never even talked to them after the fact. Great story. Great story.
Didn't even get their number. Nothing.
No, they texted me. I had the number. It's funny. They texted me after the fact, and then they were like, "Hey, there's this festival, or there's this whatever." I think it was like October. It's on October. I forget what it's called.
Escape.
Yeah, Escape.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, you trying to come?" I was like, "Dog, I only talked to you like that one weekend." I was like, "I can't. I'm sorry."
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
But they're cool, yeah.
No, so I will say some of those rave families and some of the people that you meet at raves, they're generally the nicest people. Like maybe there might be serial killers behind the scenes, but like in the moment,
they bought us a bucket. I don't care.
Yeah, so like
nice guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like some of those people are like super nice. Like I'll never forget my first EDC in 2015. Did I ever tell you that story? How I went to EDC 2015?
I mean, yeah, that's when we were living together.
No, so that was freshman summer year, so we weren't living together. So, see, check this out. My first festival was EDC Las Vegas 2015, right? And my cousin had an extra ticket. My cousin's 8 years older than me, so he's always introduced me to everything. Like he introduced me to craft beer, right? Like he introduced me to everything, right? So, the first EDC, I asked my mom for permission because I wasn't even 21 at that time. I asked her permission if I could go to EDC because I've always wanted to do it, right? And my mom introduced me to EDM music. Like she introduced me to.
Your mom sounds cool as shit, dude.
My mom's super cool. Like my mom, like
she's pretty sick.
Yeah, I was like, my mom's super
cool, dude.
But my mom introduced me to EDM music in middle school. So like before, like a lot of these art, I think like probably Tiesto was out during that time.
When it was just dubstep, it was just Skrillex and Flux Pavilion.
So, but like I'll never forget this. She introduced me to DJ Chucky. DJ Chucky, I've never seen that man at any festival headline nothing. I've only have him on my iPod.
Okay,
but
on my iPod. Oh,
yeah,
damn.
but so she introduced me to EDM, right? So I was like, I've always wanted to go to a music festival because there's always been like these little shows, right? There's these little shows at like these arenas, and she never let me go to those because she's like, nah, like they just do drugs there. Like at least if you're gonna do a festival, do like a real festival. And I was like, okay. So then when I asked her for permission for EDC 2015, she's like, no, you're not old enough yet. And I was like, I was super bummed, right? So then. And God bless my mom, man. She went through a lot because my scheme ass told my cousin, I was like, yo, pick me up at 8 a.m. and we'll deal with the consequences later. Oh my God. So here he goes, picks me up. He's like, your mom gave you permission, right? I was like, yeah. And then like
she's calling you.
No, so we're like 3 hours in, right? And she's calling me, and I was just like, all right, I gotta confess to you. He's like, what happened? I was like, so my mom said no. My cousin started stressing because like my mom's cool, but she was strict at that time.
Yeah, okay.
So he's like, dude, I'm gonna get my ass beat. Like you got me into this shit.
Yeah.
He's like, it's too late to turn back. He's like, all right, fuck it, whatever. We're just gonna. He's like, it's your ass. Like, I'm just gonna get a couple slaps in, but your ass is gonna get beat. I was just like, all right, whatever. So I picked up. I was like, hi, mom. She's like, hey, like, I was thinking about what you said about EDC. Like, I feel really bad because I know you've been talking about it since you were like in middle school. Like, I know like that was something that you and I spoke about. She's like, how about like later on we go to dinner and like.
She was about to let you go, bro.
Yeah, no. She's like, how about we go to dinner? And she's like, maybe like I buy you a PlayStation because I think it was close to my birthday. And like we didn't really do much for my birthday, so she was like trying to. It was like a birthday thing, right? So I was like, yeah, about that. I'm on my way to Vegas. She's like, motherfucker. She's like, with who? And I was just like, yeah. So Adrian's driving. She hung up the phone and she calls him. Yeah.
Oh, she's like, you better turn your ass back around right now.
He's like breathing. He's like, hey, Thea. And then she's like, so she was mad, but at that point it was like already too late to turn back.
You're watching him.
So yeah, she's like, you're watching him, like blah, 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 right? And where I'm getting to this is that, so the first day, like, we didn't know any artists at that time, right? We just knew EDC. Like, we didn't know anyone that was there. And we stayed at the Stratosphere, and this group from Arizona, we were trying to catch a taxi to EDC. And, dude, those taxis, those rates are super high.
Expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so the guy overheard us, and he's like, hey, man, if you guys don't have a ride, like, you can ride with us. And then it was like, oh, dude, 100%. And we were driving there. It's like probably from like the Stratosphere to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway is probably like 30, 40 minutes, but probably with traffic, you talk about like an hour.
Oh, wow.
So, dude, the guy's just fucking chopping the shit with us. Like, he's like, oh, like, who are you guys here to see? And my cousin's like, I'm gonna be super upfront. It's his first EDC. Like, I haven't really been into like many of the mainstream artists. So the guy's just like, dude, you know what? No worries, man. He's like, this is probably like my 10th EDC. I've been going to EDC since Los Angeles because EDC started in LA. He's like, so you guys can just roll with us. He's like, if you
a guide.
Yeah, he's like, if you have anyone that you want to see, just let me know. And he was such a fucking cool guy. Like, I lost touch with him.
Oh, dude, you gotta get back in touch.
Dude,
you gotta get back in
so
touch.
funny thing, I saw him 2 more festivals after EDC, and he was such a cool guy. He was from Arizona. I'll never forget that. But no, EDC 2015 was like my eye opener to that festival. I'll never forget Dioro's 2015 set at Kinetics. Dude, it was a game changer to me. Like, to this day, if I see, there's a few artists that like, if I'm at a place and they're there, I will see them all day. Even though I know all their songs, even though I probably know what they're gonna drop, I'll see them all day. Like, that is one of the sets that for sure to this day, them and Disclosure set at Neon Garden, and then Dioro's at Kinetic Field, all-time best. Like, in my memory block, like, that's a core memory.
It's like, I'm gonna keep that memory.
I was like, dude, that's a memory.
Yeah.
In my deathbed, 30, like, I don't know, maybe not 30 years from now. I thought about that. I was like, in my deathbed, I was like, someone's like, what would you like to relive one more time? I was like, EDC 2015.
You're like, what's your dying wish?
Dude, that 2015 lineup though was gas. It's EDC's lineup is always fucking good. I don't care what anyone says; it's always solid. But that 2015 lineup to me was just super.
Because it's your first time, dude.
Well, not only that, but like Disclosure, right?
There's
like,
some classic names on this list.
Yeah,
Even now, like in 2022, like looking back at like some of the DJs that are on this, like
Go ahead, top right now.
see, there's like 40 names. I'm not going. We're already over an hour. I'm not gonna go
shit.
through all these.
All right.
I'm not gonna go through all these.
shit.
Just know 2015 EDC gas.
I mean,
lineup.
if we want, fuck it. Who cares? We'll do a 3-hour podcast. We'll do a Joe Rogan episode. Be here all fucking day. What I say? We're at a BOOTCUT episode. Who gives a fuck? There are no rules today. Okay, so the first one, 12th Planet. I'm just
You're not gonna read. I was like, you're not gonna read the whole thing right now. Hold on now. Hold on.
Yeah, continue.
No, I think to me, to like 2015 for sure, it was just like Disclosure, right? Disclosure 2015. Prior to that, Disclosure, I don't think I've seen him anywhere until this past recent Coachella. But even then, like Coachella sets are super different from like EDC sets. Like so just like for example, right? Like John Summit, like
You've been to Coachella.
Yeah. They put the mainstream artists on the big stages, and like it's funny. Like when I went to Coachella, there wasn't really many like house EDM kind of style music, and if it was in the small tent. I was like, that's kind of lame, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Though.
but I'm like, it's kind of lame.
But it's not their festival, right? Like at EDC, that's where they show. That's where they show out. That's like where some of the, other than like probably like the private events, like that's where some of their best sets come out of.
Literally the Super Bowl for electronic.
Other than Tomorrowland, for sure would be like the World Cup. Like EDC is like,
that's in
Belgium.
That's Belgium. Yeah.
So Tomorrowland is for sure on my bucket list to try to hit, because it's expensive, but that's for sure like the World Cup. EDC Las Vegas.
It's crazy.
Tomorrowland's like the World Cup. Fucking EDC Las Vegas like the Super Bowl for sure.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Good comparison.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so let's just say there's what? Let's just say there's 50 artists at EDC.
Okay.
Tomorrowland, there was like 200.
Isn't it 3-day or 4-day?
This is the list.
I think it's 3-day
for Tomorrowland.
Is that the 2022 lineup?
This is 2022. Yeah.
Oh damn!
How do you even like go through?
There's so many. There's just so many. So like, EDC Las Vegas, right? EDC Las Vegas has, because in EDM there's so many genres, right? Like even if you, let's say house, right? Like you mentioned house. Even with house, there's so many subgenres of house. So like,
oh god, yeah.
Yeah. So like, there's so many. I think EDC Las Vegas, right? I think there's around. I think there's 5 main stages, if I'm correct. There's 5 main stages, and then you have the little stages. But each of those 5 main stages have artists in those genres, and they also do it for population control, right? Because you can't have
all these
one.
people in
Yeah,
one
exactly.
area.
So a lot of times, even with Tomorrowland, they have like big artists playing at the same time to make sure people don't crowd one area. Yeah.
Tomorrowland is a 3-weekend festival. So
it's a 3 weekend?
It's 3 weekends. Oh. Yeah, so this is not just 3 days. So yeah, so there's 3 weekends for Tomorrowland.
But is it the same lineup for each of those 3 weekends?
No. It's weekend like 1 will have like a third of this list, and the second third will be the next weekend.
Crazy.
Imagine going all 3 weekends.
Dude, yeah, that's fucking crazy.
You're a month of partying.
Holy shit, dude.
Okay, there's 700 artists in Tomorrowland's 2022 lineup, 14 stages.
That's fucking
And yeah, because of COVID, this is their first year back since 2019. So July 15th. July 15th is the first weekend, and then
damn, I'll be in Texas
that weekend.
You got 2 other weekends, my guy. You got 2 other weekends.
Yeah, no, that shit's crazy.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, that is very yeah, I don't know. Electronic music is a very interesting culture, and yeah, just genre and just lifestyle. I guess you can definitely say lifestyle, right. But yeah, man, shit's fun. We'll get there.
I only experienced Vegas once, so that's how I was introduced to this.
I mean, you gotta start somewhere. I already told you earlier today. The first show I went was with him.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah, remember? No. Because you kept trying to push.
Probably not.
Oh yeah. Because you kept trying to push me to go to like the festival. You're like, oh, but let's go to Beyond. Let's go to fucking.
Who did we go see?
Chami and Mala.
Oh, dude, that was a fucking badass tour. Actually, that was a pretty badass tour because
that was 20.
They started as like in the smaller stadiums and then ended their tour at EDC Las Vegas when it's normally it's the opposite. Yeah. They normally drop it at like a big festival and then they start hitting the little cities.
Yeah, that was it.
That's kind of hard.
I remember that now because I remember we saw that show near USC, right? It was here in LA. Shrine. Yeah. Yep. I remember that because I saw them their first show and then I saw them at EDC Las Vegas. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, but no, that was my first like actual. Yeah, I think that was my first like live EDM show because like I would just listen to it, just like sets or whatever, but. I never wanted to see a live show, and I remember when I was living with him, since he was, that's when it was like his thing, like he was always like, oh bro, let's go to Beyond, oh bro, let's go to Nocturnal, oh bro, let's go to fucking Escape, oh bro, and I was like, no, I don't want to pay for all this stuff, it's too expensive, we were in college, we're sophomores in college, I'm not making money, like I don't know how I'm going to pay for a fucking festival, so I was like, no dude, I can't do that. And it was between Jaws, going to see Jaws, but I don't think we couldn't get tickets for Jaws, or something happened with the Jaws.
It got too expensive right away.
Yeah, I think like we tried to get tickets, or you tried to get tickets because I was in class, and then like whatever, like you couldn't get tickets, and then we tried to find like resale tickets, and it was just too much, so we couldn't do that because I would have loved to see him. That was 2016, whatever, when this was happening. But then Chami and Mala announced that they were playing in LA. And like, 'cause I'm a big Chami fan, I was like, dude, if there's one show that I'm gonna see, like, I want to go see Chami, and he's like, bro, we're gonna go see Chami and Mala, and I was like, oh, let's fucking go, and yeah, that was my first show, and that shit was crazy.
That was a sick setup too, like the whole, because like Chami, I don't know if he is religious, but like he dressed like a pastor, and like his whole background was like a church background. Oh. So like
they did back to back, so essentially they was like each of them would play like 2 or 3 songs. Mm-hmm. But they were 2 separate.
Oh, they're not a group.
No, these are 2 different people.
Oh, got it. Okay, I thought they were a group.
No, so they did back to back. And usually, if you go back to back with a DJ, you play on the same decks, right? So like, I'll be standing next to Jesus, and Jesus will be standing next to me. I'll be up there doing 3 songs, and then I back off. He goes on and does it. But how they did it, which was cool, like we said, like it was really a split, like right in the middle. So there was 2. They were facing like this, like diagonal. So it's. Chami was on this side, Mala was on this side. Almost like they were like battling.
It's like dueling,
yeah. So like they had 2 different things, and like Chami was like he had his like all like religion, like it was kind of like stained glass window like looking stuff, and then Mala was just like dirt, like because I mean, again they're both just like really deep house DJs, but Mala has always kind of been the more just like grimy, just like dirty, like deep house kind of like music. So it was just cool for them to like be together. But that was their whole stage setup. But it was like You have one side and one side, and they would just both just go back and forth between like playing music.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that shit was really cool. Good times.
Maybe I should go to one show.
I mean, we've been to shows in Vegas, but yeah, outside of Vegas, it's different for sure. Yeah, it's fun times. Very good times.
One day.
Cool. Well, fuck. I guess we can wrap it up, boys. It's been a real BOOTCUT episode.
Welcome to the first BOOTCUT episode.
BOOTCUT jeans and all. All right, boys and gals. Jesus, thanks for coming in and talking with us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Just enjoying the bullshits and talking, man. Yeah, thanks to you guys for listening, and hopefully you guys made it this far, because I know we were just talking. But thanks for joining us on another episode of the Too Good For You podcast, a podcast that's too good but made just right for you. We already know where to find us. We are on everything at Too Good For You Pod. That is the number 2, good, the number 4, and the letter U pod. We are on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Apple Music, Spotify, Anchor, and Patreon. Our Patreon.
YouTube. Don't be forgetting YouTube. Man. No, you did not.
I did. Man. That was the third thing I said.
I swear that was not.
And we're on YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching this. If you're listening, go check us out on YouTube. But yeah, so I'm not doing the list again. But yeah, you can go ahead and find us on Instagram, and then you can go through all the links to get all of our shit. But yeah, Patreon is $5 a month if you want to support the show, guys. Yep, it's $5 a month. Eventually, Eman and I will get into more content, but if you guys just feel like being nice and supporting us, it's $5. So go ahead, head over to patreon.com/toogoodforyou for that. Hey, Zeus, do you want to shout yourself out, give any socials or anything like that?
No, I'm just happy I was
here for the
along with the podcast.
All right. Zeus is just hanging out. Well, again, yep. Thanks for coming, brother Eman. Where can they find you?
You can hit me up on Instagram at EmanuelSnap. Going back to my usual, I don't want you to find me anywhere else. So, and Tyson, where can they find you?
And of course, you guys already know you can find me on all my socials at DJXFaro. But I'll let you all figure out how to spell that because we're all adults here. And yeah, thanks, guys. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.